earlier before we started recording, we were getting ready. We were getting our beverages, and you were pouring hella oat milk in this cup you have over here.
Big ass cup.
And I was like, is he going to drink like just straight up oat milk? Because you so would. You actually do. You drink oat milk and even almond milk, more almond milk than oat milk, but you drink like a whole glass of it the same way that like kids drink milk before bed type thing.
Someone told me once that drinking cold almond milk or cold oat milk is like nasty and weird.
You know, it's nasty.
Why?
It doesn't. I think maybe almond milk, like I get, especially if it's like some type of sweetened, like maybe even vanilla flavored.
Okay.
But just oat milk, it doesn't taste.
I don't do oat milk. Honestly, I don't.
Sometimes, if we don't have almond.
Okay, so by the way, if you want to know what's in my big ass cup over here, I made a chai, okay?
Yeah, well, I was like, you better put chai in that.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, I was going to do that. You
Because
thought I was
there's
just
no
going
way
to
you're
drink...
about to drink, like chug a whole, that's like almost a whole
Why would I drink
box.
oat milk with ice on a pod? So random.
No, I feel like that's something you would do.
No. So I got chai from Trader Joe's. By the way, it's probably like the best chai I ever had.
Honestly, if I had a coffee shop, if I opened a coffee shop, I would use that chai.
Yeah.
Because every other place that I go to, they're like, this is like locally made, which is great. Or this is like our own house-made chai syrup mixture. It never hits. It's always like, for some reason, too spicy,
or
not
too
enough,
watery,
like too watery. Exactly,
too
it's like it's not
cinnamony.
concentrated enough.
Yeah.
And then the only one that hit that came close to, would you say it was better than the Trader Joe's one? It was like
Which
the
one?
same.
From Blank Street
From
Coffee?
Blank Street when we went to New York. That was the one
That was
that
probably
the best one I've ever had, like
Yeah.
at a coffee shop.
That was the best chai I ever had, period.
And how come we only had one?
Yeah, I don't know.
As soon as we get there, that's the first thing.
That's the
that
first thing
gonna
we're
do.
getting. So that's my beverage for the night.
My beverage.
No, so I'm saying if you want to get you some good ass chai, you should go to Trader Joe's.
Sangre.
And buy, what do you call that? Like concentrated
Yeah,
bottle.
it's
16 ounce.
It's not the because there's two versions. There's like a powdered version of it, and
Of
then
that one?
Of that one, yeah, but it's not as good.
Damn.
And then there's the liquid version. So the one we get is like chai concentrate in the bottle, so it's already liquidy, and that shit lasts for like a long time.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Okay, I don't know how many people care about chai.
I mean, guys, I'm such a beverage girl. Like, I love a good beverage.
Yeah, you love food too.
Yeah, but there's something specific about beverages that it's like, I just want to always have something fun to sip on. Like having a fun drink to sip on.
Yeah.
It's so nice. Like having a little iced tea. Right now I'm drinking this little root beer. But it has probiotics in it, so it's good for you.
Oh my God. Yo, I think just the podcast being named What's the Juice, I feel like one day in like 5 or 7 or 8, maybe 10 years, if we could have our own juice.
Or some type of drink, yeah.
Or maybe collaborate
I
with
think
a
that's
company.
more, because I think then it becomes a whole
We
other
would be the first podcast to collaborate with a juice company. Do you know how
yeah, but
fire
like
that would
actually
be?
collaborate, like not just us having their product. It's
No.
like we would create
Yes.
a drink together.
Right. Like what
That
I
would
would
be
really love, I
fire.
would love to do that with Poppy.
Oh, you just wanted to
I'm
say
sorry,
it.
I had to name drop because everybody knows
Everybody knows. Everybody knows. That's something that
that. What's the Juice
we're
collab?
manifesting.
What's the Juice collab with Poppy? And I can just make like my own like blueberry flavor or something.
Which one?
Blueberry?
I told you they already had a blueberry one, and then they discontinued it because it wasn't. I guess it wasn't that good.
Yeah, but my blueberry is gonna be way better.
Yeah, but I don't think it should be blueberry. If anything, it should be like a lemonade or something, because we have lemons in the artwork,
Yeah.
in the branding. Anyways, guys, should we just introduce the pod?
Yes, introduce the part. I feel like people always skip to this part for some
Oh,
reason.
do you think so? Okay, well, anyways, hello everybody. Welcome back to the What's the Juice podcast. I am one of your hosts, Alia Zaitsa.
Wow, you saying your last name too
I
now?
think I want to say it now because
should.
I want people to know like my last name.
Yeah.
Even though I actually have two last names, but I'm just using one because
Yeah.
two is too much. Sorry, Dad.
Oh my God, sorry, Dad. Oh, I remember. It's like because it's his name.
Well, it's his name and then it's my mom's name. So I chose one to go with for my YouTube channel because I didn't want both. It's like too much. Because also people think that his name is my middle name, but I don't have a middle name.
Oh,
So
yeah.
then-
I only have my last name. My name is Yoni Kodo. If you're a first-time listener, I'm the one who always introduces himself with
your full
first
name.
and last. Yeah.
Yeah. Just very official. But how are you doing on this fine Monday evening? Monday night, actually.
My Monday was actually perfect.
Really?
Yeah, it was good.
We've like barely talked today.
Yeah, we barely talked today, which is great.
Yeah, it's great for business.
No, it's great because now I can actually catch up with you.
Yeah.
And just actually see, because I don't know what you did today.
Yeah, I mean, I can walk you through. It's not very exciting. When you work from home, it's you kind of working from home is great, but at the same time, it comes with like certain things that you'd rather like not deal with.
Okay, what do you miss? Like you work from home.
Like
what
I miss,
are some things? Wait, can I ask my question? Working from home, what do you miss?
I think the most what I miss is like having to go somewhere. Because for me, I'm the type of person that like if I'm already out, I'm most likely gonna stay out. You know, over the weekend, we went out and hung out with my parents and my brother and sister. And we got like some food. And after that, we got some dessert. And we were already out. And we had made plans with people before. Like to go after we were hanging out with my family.
Right.
And when that time came, I was like, okay, like I'm ready. Let's go to the next thing, to the next place.
Yeah. So you were being a little social butterfly over the weekend.
But the only reason I felt that way is because I was already out. I had already been out. I was like, I had a fit on.
So how would it be differently?
So it would be different if I had been home and then I have to go out. It's harder for me to do that. You know what I'm saying? From being at home to going outside, it's that transition right there is harder compared to if I would have already been out. Like if I had to, when I used to go to school, I used to go on campus, and if I'm already out, then I'm like, okay, like it's much easier to go to other places for me.
Yeah. You mentioned school. I wanted to touch on something real quick. When I was in college, I loved school, but not necessarily because of like all the classes and stuff. I just loved the social part of it.
Yeah, I'd never experienced any of that.
So going to the cafeteria was like my favorite thing because I knew as soon as class was over, I'm gonna see this person. I don't know why I just love talking to people like during the cafeteria. Not during the cafeteria.
During lunch break.
The lunch break, yeah.
I didn't experience any of that because COVID was also happening when I was in my first couple quarters. So
I don't know. I would stay in school even when school was over. Like I took my last class. Let's say I'm finished at, I don't know, like 1 p.m. I would just hang out at school because that's where all my friends were. Right. Some people get off at 3.
It's the same like how it was in high school, you know?
No, but in high school, everybody finishes. What's wrong?
Oh, no, nothing.
Everybody finishes school at the same time in high school.
I guess that's true, yeah.
But in college, it's like different times, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know why. So I was going to ask you, why didn't you want to hang out with people? Like
I didn't know anybody.
Okay, but that's exactly my point. You get to know people, no?
But I didn't have any interest. Like nobody in my classes piqued
Nobody
my
was
interest.
interested.
No.
In any of your classes.
No, everybody and also because like you have to understand, I didn't start like my associates in community college. I didn't start it like I started on a random quarter because it was like transitioning from dance, and when I was injured while I was still dancing, I took like some online classes. So I didn't like start in September at this time with like a whole bunch of people and did all that. I came in at
when everybody already knew each other.
Yeah, and also I had more credits, so I was like in classes with people that were younger than me.
Oh, okay.
Because I had already had credits before that when I started. And then the same thing when I transferred to UW, I had already like more credits than like the halfway point. So I wasn't starting at like I have 2 years left. I had about like a year and a half left. So it was always kind of like I was out of sync, I guess, with like the people and like the timing of how you start stuff. And also I didn't go to school here. I didn't go to high school in the area or anything like that. So I already didn't have.
I didn't either, by the way.
I know, but we're also different. Yeah. And I also, when I started my college journey,
career,
I I had a little bit of stuff going on in my personal life with like, you know, moving on from dance, not dancing anymore. Like I was kind of there, heads down. I wasn't really trying to meet anyone.
No, I understand.
You
There's
know
a lot
what
of
I'm
people.
saying?
There's a lot of people that I knew even from like when I was in school that they would just come into their classes and go home. They don't like. They wouldn't even care about.
And for some reason, I'm like, when are we talking? You have 5 or 10 minutes between each class. And then also, like, not everybody has the same lunch break. And then I also would try to take as many classes as I could before lunch. So I'm done early in the morning, you know? And for some reason, I just wasn't really trying to talk to anybody.
No, I understand. I know a lot of people who
nobody seemed like someone that I was like, ooh, I want to get to know this person
But
better.
I don't think that has to necessarily be the only reason. Some people just want to take their classes and go home. They don't care about, this is not like high school, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I was totally the person who was just out there.
Yeah, but I think you also, I don't know, it's like we were already together.
Yeah.
I was working at the coffee shop, so I knew people like through that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Today's topic
is,
we're going to talk about something that we always mention in this episode.
I think we had a little realization actually a few days ago about just communication. And it's not so much like just the communication, like what communication means. It's more the way that we've offered it to you guys listening in the past as a solution for certain things when it comes to relationships, where we said like, communication is the answer.
Communication is key.
Communicate. Communication is key. Yeah. And I think we realized a few days ago, actually, we were talking, and we're talking about like specifically recording this, but we're talking about something else.
There's many ways you can break down communication. Right. It's not just like, because it's so broad. You can just say, oh, communication is key. That doesn't help anyone listening. Okay, great. I know that.
But at the same time, communication is key.
I know, but just saying that, it's not going to like ring the bell for someone and be like, oh, you know what? That is the key. I'm going to solve all my problems.
Right. And I think that's also where communication is key, but it also has to be in the right situation and in the right scenario and with the right two people.
And you have to know what your partner likes to hear at a certain time. It's very important.
Okay. So do you want to get into that?
I want to get into the specific example, and I don't think it was over the last couple of days, like you said. I feel like that specific thing that I realized about you.
Oh, but I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about like this little conversation that we had. Okay,
remind me of that, but I have something specific that I want to say.
Okay, do you want to say it right now or do you want me to say it?
No, I want to say it.
Okay.
So, and this, I think I realized that maybe like around a month ago. Okay. And this is after us being together for 4 years, right?
Going on 5.
Which is
so
crazy.
Exciting.
I've never been in a relationship.
Should we do something fun for like our 5 year? I feel like it's like, halfway for
It's a milestone.
Decade. Yeah, 5 years a milestone.
Yeah, it's a milestone. We should definitely do something fun. So, and this is something that I'm just realizing now about Alia. And please, like, just let me go, okay? Like, no interruption, okay?
Just go. Leave. I'm kidding.
Let's say I'm in the house. I'm trying to find a good example. But long story short, I'll make it short, okay?
Yeah, I think you can just explain.
Yeah, I can just explain it. If there's something that I want to tell Alia, and it's something very general, okay?
Give us an example of that.
An example, oh wow! Like, what's an example? Like, I'm blanking right now. I just want to say
an example of that.
There's a cup on the table, okay? Super simple. There's a cup on the table, and I walk in the house, and Alia's been at home. She's working from home, so I would say, "Damn, I didn't realize I left that cup here." I would say some shit like that, right? As in me, like I left it, right? Anytime I say anything very general, Alia takes it personal. And she thinks that I'm blaming her automatically. So with the cup situation, she would think that I'm saying, why didn't you bring it to the kitchen? Or why did you leave it here all day? When I wasn't even saying that. I feel like the example did not hit like I wanted
But
to.
that is pretty, like, that gives the idea. It could be
Like you,
I'm trying to think of an example too. Like it could be,
if I say something general,
yeah, you could be walking into the kitchen and saying, like, damn, the trash like smells or something, and I'll be like, I mean, yeah, you can take it out, or like something like, basically what? Okay,
you take things personal.
Okay.
Like you're ready to,
What
like, as soon as I say
often
something,
happens-
you go like this, and then you want to like fight back.
And what often happens is it's a little bit of it's a two-way kind of
situation.
potion. Like the way that it happens is like we both play our roles in this, and it always results in the same thing.
Well, what's my
which
role?
is communication. Your role is that you don't realize the way you communicate sometimes is indirectly pointing the finger. And you might not intentionally, like you even tell me, you're like, I didn't mean, like, I'm not even saying that this is about you, or I'm not telling you to do something. However, from this side, it happens so often that when you say something in the way that you say it, it translates to kind of like pointing the finger. And that's just how it is. I also have the part that I play in this where I am more likely going to take it in that way. So that's why I'm saying it's the perfect match in that way that always results in miscommunication. And it's funny to say that because we're always like, oh, communicate. And that is because whenever there's a miscommunication, we right away communicate about the miscommunication. We don't leave it miscommunicated and then we're like mad at each other and we don't talk about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So whatever is on the table and whatever the situation is and the misunderstanding is, we communicate about it in that moment. So that's why
everything is solved in the moment or like
Yeah.
in the same day.
Yeah, like it's never that one person walks away from the conversation
never.
because there's some type of disagreement. Like never.
We've
since
never
we've
had
been together has one person like walked away. It's like as soon as some tension, some whatever argument, something like that comes to life, we deal with it there and there. Then and there.
There and there. Yeah. So my
yeah.
question to you is, I
I
understand.
hope that was clear.
I think it was clear, and I think people can understand what we're trying to say. But I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I know what I'm doing wrong when it comes to, even if I'm saying something general. What I've come to understand and realize is that, if I want to talk about this cup, for example, I would say, before I even say anything, right? I would say, babe, I'm not even saying that this is what you did, but why is this cup here? Bad
Yeah.
example.
It's
So
still
I
a
have
bad
to-
example, but we should have prepared for a different example.
like yeah, okay. But I think the example itself
Makes
doesn't
sense.
really matter.
Yeah.
It's just about that.
This is the example of you over communicating.
Right. So I will say something like, hey, I'm not saying this is what you think, or
I'm not saying this is what you did.
but, and then I can say, because as soon as I do that, Alia will listen with a whole different
I will
ear.
listen with like my guard down for some reason.
But if I don't do it, automatically she's like, wait, are you saying I'm doing it? Did you say that I did it?
And I think, you know why that
But
I
that's
think
not
that too?
good. That's
But
actually like not
it's
even.
also because I'm thinking I wish that I could think about like a good example right now, and like I should have thought about it before we started recording, but it is what it is.
I didn't know I was going to bring this up like that.
Yeah, but I think that in certain situations, it's like the way you say it, there's no like other reason to say this thing other than to basically let the other person know, like, you should have done this or something like that. Like, there's no other reason to have said that. Like, you go in the room and you say, like,
but I'm not going to act the same way.
This stuff is still here. Like, you come home, right? You come home and you're like, damn, the laundry's still on the bed, or like, damn, the desk is still a mess or something like that.
That never happens like that, because that's a very like indirectly at you. Like,
but what I'm saying is, like, you sometimes don't realize that you say things. It might not be those exact words, but you say it in the way that I wouldn't be the only one that thinks you're basically saying and telling me. Okay. Directly.
So that. I did my work on my side.
No, I wouldn't say you. What do you mean?
See, exactly. Like automatically, you're thinking that I'm about to say something to counter what you said.
I mean, wouldn't anyone?
No, because
we're talking about me and you, and you just said I did my work. What can be next other than so you have to do your work?
No.
What can be next? Tell me. Hey, okay, guys, listen right now. If you're listening, if you're watching on if you're watching on YouTube, if Yoni would have said that to you just now, if it's about you and him, and he says, I did my work, and I did. What could be next other than something that's about you?
Okay, listen. I did my work and I found a solution to how I can be better, which is, hey, I'm not saying this is what you're doing. So I got to preface it with something so you can listen with a clear mind. That was what I was going to say.
Okay.
Now, you didn't know that because you interrupted me.
No, it's true. It's my bad.
Okay, so what I meant to say was that, is there something you can do?
See, so you were gonna say that.
No, but I'm trying to, like, live on the pod right now, I'm trying to find a solution for you. Like, what are you gonna do to not think that everything is automatically judgy or like pointing at you? Like, is there, or is it just always gonna be like that? Because I don't do that.
No, it's not always gonna be like that. But the way you even asked this question is so, like, I don't know if condescending is the right word, but it's so like,
no.
So what are you gonna do about it?
No, I'm trying to think.
I mean, obviously, like, I'm gonna try my best because I'm recognizing this pattern in myself that I do jump to the conclusion, to the assumption that you're directly telling me this thing that you're saying.
Yeah.
And like with like a pointed finger type of feeling in just like the way you say something. And I have to remind myself that you sometimes might communicate in that way. Let's say you forget to do the over communication preface.
Okay.
And you just say whatever you say. And I have to remind myself that that's just like how you communicate. And instead of jumping the gun of like defense mode, maybe I'll just ask you to like clarify, or like I won't assume that you're talking about something that I should have done or it's like directed at me. You know, so that's just something that I will have to remember.
Yeah. Is this like a therapy session we're doing right now?
I was just telling my friend the other day, I was talking to Brenda, and I was like, we were talking about just going to therapy and how I've never really gone to therapy. This
is therapy.
And
right,
but how the pod is like weekly therapy.
Yeah.
Truly.
Like without even trying to, because I feel like what we just did, some people consider that like a therapy session.
Oh yeah, totally. Especially because I think we're so vulnerable, and the way we communicate, people might think communicate. Yeah. I've had a lot of realizations on the pod, especially since like season 2.
Yeah, which is good.
No, it's great.
Yeah, and sometimes if you're listening, I don't know if you can tell that this is a real conversation that's happening. We're not like, we didn't discuss about this, or like we didn't
really talk about this. But plan. I mean, I did recognize, like, because I started recognizing that Yoni was adding in that extra preface before he would say what he's trying to say, and he would be like, I recognized and noticed that over communication that you've been doing, and it's funny because it instantly helps.
Yeah.
It instantly helps. If you stripped that away, the outcome of that little comment or whatever you said would be different.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I feel like you might even see how, like, do you not see when you add that over communication, how if you didn't, it could be translated as you're directing it at me.
Totally. But that's why I did it, because there's always ways that we can be better, no matter how good of a communicator you think you are.
Yeah.
And even though I might not agree that someone should be on defense mode right away.
Yeah, the way that I am.
But if it is what it is, but I live with you and I love you, right? As my partner. So I'm going to try my best to change how I do things that can work for you as well in this relationship. Because I think it's selfish to be like, well, what I'm saying is not wrong at all. Why are you tripping like that? No.
Yeah.
As a listener, I mean, if you're listening, just always, I would say, see, and it goes back to the ego thing. Like, I don't want to put my foot down and say, I'm not wrong and you have to change yourself. Even if I don't think I'm like wrong, quote unquote, I will try to add, okay, let me add that those few words in the beginning before I say what I have to say.
Yeah.
So my partner will listen with a whole, like, you got to know your partner.
And it's interesting that you recognize.
Are we good on time?
Yeah, we're good. It's interesting for you to, when you recognize, because you don't do it like, it's not like Yoni before he says anything, he says that little thing.
No.
But it's interesting how you recognize when it's needed. Like, you already know that this one thing that you want to say needs this little preface.
And also, this only comes with time.
What?
Because that recognizing, because I know each thing that I say, I know when
it's needed,
and it might come out from you, that defense wall, you know?
Oh, okay. So you're saying like it comes with time in the sense that
like you gotta know your person.
Oh,
you gotta know your person. Like if you're dating someone for 6 months, you're not gonna know that shit.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
And this is something that us have been in this relationship for like going on 5 years now, and it's just now that we're making this little adjustment.
It's just now.
You know, I would say this may be like the newest thing.
Yeah.
You know, and we don't often, I don't know, I think we've been lucky in the sense that our communication styles have been pretty similar and they've kind of just worked together where we don't have a lot of misunderstandings. But when we do, those I would say were like the biggest times that I would feel like, no, but you said this, and even if you didn't mean it, you have to know how it comes across, you know? And then I think that was maybe the one thing that we hadn't really like figured out or resolved, you know? So I think we're on the right path. And I would say too, like I'm trying my best to recognize and like think before I react, that's for me just my own like personal work with anything, not just you.
Yeah. And I wish, obviously, the ego and pride episode was the last episode, but I think that also kind of ties into this a little bit because let's say if you did have an ego or if you were like really prideful, you wouldn't want to make those adjustments.
Yeah.
Because you think you didn't do anything wrong. And people always feel like if I didn't do anything wrong, why should I change something? Oh,
so if you, for example, were the person that had a big ego, you would be like, no. I'm not trying to.
I would be stubborn and be like, no, you shouldn't react like that. I would point my finger at all times. Yeah. But what I try to do is like, okay, I really was thinking like, what can I do for this not to happen? Not even thinking about what you got to do. And I just find my solution and it actually works without you even changing anything.
That's really like commendable because I would say I wasn't as like willing to change because I also felt like you weren't understanding that when I was explaining to you, hey, whenever you say things the way you just said this, it's translating to like a pointing finger, like a it's your fault type of undertone.
Yeah.
And that's why I was saying like I think that this like little back and forth scenario is perfect because you say things the way that you say them that to you don't actually come with pointing the finger, but then you have me on the receptive side of what you're saying, that I receive things like I'm ready to receive them with a pointed finger. Like I'm as soon as I feel a little inkling of finger, I grab onto it and I'm like, you're pointing the finger at me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why it's the perfect match for that little, you know, miscommunication.
Yeah, and it's important. I mean, it's important to just like, I don't know, whenever anybody says communication is key, that's why I feel like it's so vague, it's so broad, because it doesn't. I feel like if you break it down, kind of like the way we just did, people actually understand like what to actually do.
Yeah,
communication is key doesn't really help anybody. Like I've heard that phrase forever, and I'm like, okay, great.
Communication is key, but in order to even use that key of communication, you have to know what communication style works for you, and like how each person receives and gives that communication, you know. And that's something that, as you said, like it takes time to figure out, the same way that like we're still figuring it out. But as I said before, like we were lucky in that our communication styles and the way we like received information and gave information was it just worked and naturally like flowed. However, if you are currently in a relationship or you've been in a relationship where you always felt like either what you're saying isn't received the way that you want it to, or what your significant other is giving you, you're not receiving, like it has to work on both sides and both ends for giving and receiving.
Yeah.
And you also have to recognize that way that we have now. It's like seeing how the person receives information you give them, how they process it, and how do they need to process it, and how maybe you can adjust to make that communication more seamless, so that when we say communication is key, is like now you're putting into practice your communication strategies. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But it doesn't work if you don't know those.
Yeah.
But in order to also figure those out, you have to communicate about them. You have to have that guts, and you have to take off that pride and ego wall and talk about some shit and recognize, hey, this is how I'm feeling. And that's also kind of that's why we are titling this episode Over Communicating or Communication. Because
we're still gonna figure it out. Because
sometimes it kind of feels like you're over communicating.
Yeah. No, it does.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I think the other day there was something that you told me that I was having a conversation with someone or something, or I don't know, or I said something when we were with other people, and then when it was just the two of us, you were like, hey babe, like, you know, when we were talking about this, or you were talking to this person and you said this thing, like this is how it made me feel. Mm-hmm. And then at first I went into kind of not necessarily like defense mode, because you weren't necessarily coming at me, but I went into the like I had to like explain myself, and which can be perceived as like I'm defending what I'm saying, and I'm kind of invalidating your feelings.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But then, so I started as like trying to explain myself, and then I turned it around and I was like, you know what? Let me see, like, why is it that you are perceiving what I said in the moment in the way that you were?
Yeah.
You know? And then in that moment, the way we were going back and forth, and you were explaining to me why you were feeling the way you were, and then I was receiving that information, and then based on that I was responding to you. I in that moment remember that I was recognizing this is over communication. It feels a little bit like over communication, because we're kind of breaking down something where I was really trying to understand why you were feeling that way, and I was trying my best to not be like, you're just like, don't worry about it, like, don't, instead of just being like, oh, it's not what you thought, or I wasn't even meaning it like that. We really like talked about it, and I wanted to see where was it coming from? Why were you feeling that way? Because of what I said or because of what I did?
Yeah.
But for some people, it might feel like if you're having, like, even me talking about it, if you think, damn, they're talking about shit way too much or they're breaking it down way too much. It's like, but this is how you also learn about your partner, you know? And this is how you clarify a bunch of shit that until you bump into it, you might not have needed to talk about it until then.
Yeah, I think if you're in a relationship and you find yourself fighting with your partner a lot, because I feel like a lot of fights just start with like not communicating, not over communicating, because you can say something and I always have you in mind. Like whatever I say, it's not so calculated, like, oh, if I'm going to say this, how is she going to feel? It's not like that at all. We're not trying to make it seem like that, but it's, I don't know. I feel like you have to want to not argue. Because like I never want to argue.
Yeah.
And I know you never want to argue. So if there's a problem, I'm always looking at myself first. Like I'm always going to see, okay, even though I might feel however I feel about whatever you did or said, I'm going to look at myself and just say like, okay, Yoni, is there anything I could have done better? I always start with me.
Really?
Yes, always. And you might not even know this.
Yeah.
You only know what I say to you after I already did my process. So let's say we argue about some, I don't know, like some random shit, right? I would always just think in my head like, okay, this is becoming a problem and she doesn't like this, but like if I took this cup and I put it in the kitchen instead of leaving it here, this would not be a problem at all. So I don't know. Like it's just, I feel like. I'm
sorry, as you're talking, I'm trying to think of like an example.
Because
I think that yesterday we were doing some work for the pod and the conditions under which we were doing that work were like not ideal.
Yeah.
And for me, as soon as I get some type of inconvenience around work, if it's the podcast, if it's YouTube, shit is just not going right. And shit is just inconvenient.
Okay.
If it's cold, I'm hot, it's raining.
Can we say what it is just so people can really know?
Okay, so we were basically like taking photos of some shit. We were we were getting some content outside. And it was very last minute that we decided we were going to do this.
Okay.
And at first I was like, I don't really want to go. And then I was like, no, it would be good if I go with you. So then we go. But it takes us longer to get everything together for us to just leave. Then I was like, the whole point we were going is because it was nice out. We wanted to like get some sun in the photos, you know? So I was like, oh, but you know, it's 5. And even if the sun is out, the sun can be like in an angle to where it's hitting trees and buildings. So on the actual ground, there's no sun.
Right.
So then I was saying that. And then I was already getting frustrated because I was already, is there any point for us to even go? Then
we get to the location. Alia hits her foot on the door.
I hit my foot on the car door like really hard.
I don't even know how you did it.
Because I didn't realize the car like it doesn't really matter. So I did that. Before that, it was cold as shit outside. Okay? It was so cold outside. And I was like, oh my God. Like, why does it have to be cold? It's sunny. Can it not be like at least a little bit warmer? Okay. Especially because the day before it was hella nice out.
Right. So if you're listening, you can sense the energy now. Things are just annoying. Okay.
Things are just annoying.
Okay. But I do want to say that on my side, I was just excited to get these photos.
Yeah, I was annoyed.
Like it was really night and day, but this whole time I was low-key like just ignoring
my energy.
Yes.
Because you didn't want to like let my black cloud come over yours.
And I understood because you know you got hurt. It was cold. It wasn't. Things were not perfect.
And I'm also the type of person that, with many things, like if you've listened to the podcast, you might know my personality. It's like as soon as something is bad, I really focus in on it, and I don't try to overcome it or find a. And you're gonna try
other bad things. What other bad thing can I add to this?
Yeah, it's like when I hit my foot.
Oh
honestly,
my God.
Hold on, wait. I need to confess. Okay, when I hit my foot, it hurt, but it didn't hurt as badly as I reacted because I wasn't reacting to just the fact that I hit my foot.
I know what you were reacting.
I was reacting to everything else, and I just wanted to smash the fucking door.
Yo, she almost broke the window.
No, I didn't. That's exaggerating. Okay. But I basically like closed the door of the car, like really satisfyingly, because I was just frustrated. It was cold. It was windy. It was a Sunday evening where I'm like, I want to be at home.
We were carrying a bunch of shit. So during the whole time, I'm just ignoring
the black cloud while following you around. The whole thing,
yes. And anywhere I go, obviously we have to cross the street together. So I feel like Ali was just coming with me like the whole time, obviously, because we're gonna do it together.
Yeah.
So, and I was really like practicing in real time. And also the reason why I was so calm is because as a photographer, you shoot when it's cold, hot. You don't have a choice. Yeah. So I've done that. I've been in even worse than this, but it wasn't even that bad.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was so used to it, but so that's why I don't know if you thought about that, but I wasn't really thinking about that. It was like a regular day.
What I was thinking about is how everything that I do, because all the work that I do is like creative in a sense, I don't just show up at my job anymore and like do the work and it's always kind of the same. Like there's so many factors that can influence the outcome of a work day, where it's like, because a lot of it is video, photo, audio focus. It's like your environment is everything. So is it raining out? Is it sunny out? Is it cold out? Is it snowing outside? Is it hot in the apartment? Is it late? Is the wind blower blowing leaves outside? Yeah. Is someone vacuuming? Is someone knocking on the walls? Like a bunch of shit is somehow always going wrong. And I'm constantly dealing with that with like YouTube, because there's always something inconveniently wrong in the moment that I have to work and I have to record. And that's why I was extra frustrated, because I just kept feeling like nothing ever works out for me. Like for some reason, anything that I do creatively, for all the little jobs that I do with the podcast, we had the radio thing that kept being like messed up on here. We finally figured it out. And recording, but it's hot in the room, so we have to open a window, but then you hear the audio, like all these things. And I just squish them all together and eat it all up. You know what I mean? And I don't try to overcome it. And I know it's not a good thing, but I'm just trying to paint the picture of what happens up here.
Yeah. So we get to the location and we start shooting, and Ali is just the whole time she's just like this.
Okay, to be fair, I was like really trying to fight through it. Like I wasn't just standing there. I was doing shit.
No, but I know.
But I wanted to like rip up everything.
Yeah, and then like so now I was just like, so it's so funny because we were so opposites.
Yeah.
Like I was just, all right, let's do this and let's try this. And I think I remember one time there was something in a bag and I took it out of the bag myself.
Oh, yeah.
And then you were standing there because you were just like, everything was just building up, right? And then you were like, you could have asked me to take it out of your bag for you. Why don't you tell me things?
It's because you were holding the camera in one hand.
And I'm like,
and you were doing some shit with the other hand.
I was like, babe, it's right here.
I know, but I felt like you were purposely not asking me for help because you knew I was mad, which like kind of true.
It's kind of true.
Yeah, because you said it after that. You were like, okay, but if I would have asked you for help, you'd have been annoyed that I'm asking you for help.
And also, you would have told me the bag is right there. You can grab it yourself. So anyways, and then when we got home, I feel like the vibe, like the car ride, we did not speak to each other.
No. You know what was happening in the car ride? In the car ride, I was warm again. And also just the relief of the fact that I knew we were going home and it was over. I was already feeling a little bit better, but that's where you were kind of like, not like, I don't know if resentful is the right word, but you were a little bit distant from me because you were like frustrated that I was that black cloud that whole time.
Rightfully so.
And then I started feeling bad. Sorry, I'm drinking bubbly shit. I need to burp. Where was I?
you started to feel
you were
bad.
feeling a little bit resentful, and I started feeling bad that I had this black cloud.
You
this
felt
whole
bad?
time. I felt bad,
Oh, I
so I
didn't know
was
that.
trying to figure out how to like ease the mood.
Oh, I know. Like we were driving, and then
Yeah.
she was like, she started to say like, so the whole time, I was like, after the shoot was done, right? Mm-hmm. Because I was like, okay, the job is done, but emotionally, I really had to like just
put your wall up and be like, this shit is not gonna influence.
it's not
my
gonna
mood.
bother me, but it was like draining, right?
Yeah, because you had to put energy into your defense mode.
What do you, oh, right, yes.
You know, like you had to consciously be putting energy into defending yourself from the black
because
energy.
it's so easy to snap, and then we could have argued there, like, yo, why are you acting like this? We're trying to do it, but it did not go there.
I mean, I think there was one point where it almost did, but
It almost did, but I mean, fuck, like, you know, it's so anyway. So we get in the car, and I'm just like not talking. I'm just like, let's just go home. I just want to eat because I was exhausted.
yeah,
right?
and I was trying to like make conversation.
Right, and I'm not like mad at Al,
No.
like or even just not by me not talking to you. I wasn't like mad at you, but I was just in my head. I was like, I knew that later we would like talk about it. Mm-hmm. But and the whole time I was just like, I'm not trying to talk to you right now.
No,
and
and I don't even blame you, but I felt bad.
But you knew that, right?
I know. It's so funny because we be communicating without communicating sometimes.
Oh yeah.
You know, we really would.
Yeah.
So I knew exactly what was going on. And and it's weird to recognize now, but like my mood instantly changed as soon as we got into the car because I was so warm. And I was more preoccupied with the fact that I could tell that you were like frustrated with me. And then I started feeling bad because it was my fault.
Yo, you guys,
You know?
I was so frustrated. I was looking at the cars outside.
I was trying to say some like silly shit.
Yeah, she would say like we drove past some shit, and then you said something about someone's outfit or something. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, and you just didn't say anything.
Or I think you. So anything that you said in that car ride, I did not even respond.
Yeah, I think I asked like, so what do you want to eat?
Oh,
and
yeah.
then, it's the go-to.
Yeah, so like, yo, it's so funny. Like, after all that shit and then getting in a car, once you feel better, you're just like thinking, and I know that you were thinking in your head, like, okay, like as soon as you said anything that didn't have to do, with the shoot, anything just outside of whatever we were doing that day,
Yeah.
I knew that you were trying to find your way back in. Like you were trying to
I
find
know,
that
and
hole.
I know that you knew.
So
And it's funny because it's a little bit like embarrassing.
you were like, so what do you want to eat? And I'm like, okay, now she's trying to do that thing,
Yo, it's
so
so
then,
funny.
anyway, so we get home.
It's like when Bay's mad because you were mad and now you're trying to make your way back. It's like that.
Yeah, exactly. And we get home, still not talking to her. No, at home
Really?
I wasn't talking. I was just kind of doing my thing. You would say something, and I'll be like, yeah.
Oh, you're right. And then we sat on the couch, and that's where we we're talking about it.
Yeah, you sat on the couch, and
Oh, didn't I say something to you?
yes, you did. You
What did I
came
say?
over, and you was like, babe, what's wrong?
Oh, right. You were sitting over there, I remember.
And I was like, what's wrong? Yo, you know what
I knew what was wrong,
You know
but
what
I
I-
felt like maybe there was something more specific.
No, you know what I thought you were gonna say?
Mm.
You were gonna say like something like, "What's wrong with your energy?" Or like what? Like I feel this thing, like I
But it's
feel
also
it in.
because it switched.
You know how you can feel it in the room?
Yeah, the way you were feeling mine.
Yeah,
But it's also because it switched because the whole time we were shooting, I was a black cloud and you were the like, let's do this shit, whatever. You were like that. And then as soon as we got in the car, we switched and you became a little bit of a black cloud. And I was like, you know? And that's where I was a little bit like, what happened? Because I was kind of ready for you to still be in that good mood. And I'm in a good mood now.
There's no way because once the job was done.
So funny how that happened.
Yeah, once the job was done and we're in the car, I couldn't keep being like that because like I didn't think it was like okay. Like I felt like, and this is what we talked about at home.
Right.
I said that when we working, when we doing things, there's always gonna be obstacles. There's always gonna be problem solving. When you're your own boss, you're doing your own thing. And it's going to happen so many times.
Yeah, I know.
And it happened to me before doing photography. Like, I know that. So that's what I was just trying to, and I know you understand by now and all that, but I just wanted you to understand that we can't act like that when we're on set or working, you know?
It's different when it's your own stuff, you know?
Yeah. But anyway,
and it's because it's just the two of us, and I feel like we take on so much for just two people.
Yeah.
And we also went into like other things that the way I was feeling, like, yes, it was about the actual moment of like how inconvenient it was that it was cold and all that stuff in our environment. But it was also a little bit about like me and like my self-doubt and like getting in my head about just like all the things that we're doing and kind of doubting like the direction that we're going. So there was like it came from a deeper level of like my, I guess, black cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, but that moment, would you say would you consider that like over communicating?
When
just like that whole conversation
here on the couch, it wasn't over communicating, but it was very necessary, and we weren't blaming each other. We were just like, honestly,
I recognize you were really trying to figure out what it was, because you saw that it, like, because you know me, the way that I was explaining how I was feeling when we were doing the shoot, because you know me so well, you were like, but there's something else going on. Like, it's not just it's not just about the shoot. Like, okay, it was cold and all that, but there's something else that you're feeling and that is like fueling this cloud.
Yeah.
And then we got into that. So, you know, and that's where I think in any relationship is like, you gotta give each other time to learn about yourselves and about each other. And as soon as you bump into a specific situation or scenario, you really are intentional about listening to each other and responding to what that person is saying, not just responding to your side of the story.
Yeah, and wanting to help and understand.
Yeah, because that's exactly what you were doing in that moment. And then
What moment?
When I was telling you how I was feeling, I was actually really laying it out on the table of how I was just feeling about creatively, like the podcast and stuff. And not to make it seem like I was like, oh, the podcast, but you didn't just respond by, like, you really responded of like, let's work this out. Like, let's figure this out for you. Because you're saying you're feeling this way. Why are you feeling this way? Like, so forth. And a lot of, like, you know, long story short, a lot of what I was feeling is just, I was internalizing a lot of like shit that isn't really there, and I get a lot in my head about what people think, and, you know, people criticizing me, even though like I don't actually receive any of that criticism. I like predict it for no reason.
Yeah, you predict it, like you think that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's like it's the same way that when I tell people, hey, you know, like, you should really try to start making some type of content online, like, this is his time to do it. It's like it's so like easily available for you to do, because you have your phone, you can like create content, and who knows, like, maybe that shit blows up and like it performs well. And then people immediately tell me like, yeah, but I think, like, what are people gonna say? What are people gonna think? And I tell this person, like, fuck what these people are gonna think. Like, do you? But then I don't take that same advice when it comes to my work. And I think it's because I also hold myself to a specific standard. But
I don't think that's just holding yourself to a specific standard is not like an excuse to prejudge the things that you're gonna. But I prejudge.
Share. I prejudge through outside eyes, and I'm constantly just feeling like there's people out there that probably think that like what I do or what we do is like not that good or something. But then again, like, why does it matter?
Why does it matter? And who are those people?
I don't know. Like, they don't exist. Never have I had somebody give me that type of feedback. But for some reason, I just think that they exist.
See, and you're letting that affect the actual workflow on the work day, which is so like not good. You know what I'm working? I'm thinking we're doing like the dopest shit.
And
you know?
there's some it's like
not,
recent weeks that I've been kind of feeling this way, and I don't know why.
It's like you want to put out a cup, right? Before you put the cup out, you would think you would look at that cup in so many different angles and be like, damn, I know if someone looks at it from that angle, they're not gonna like it. And it's like,
I'm thinking like, I think it's dope. Well, what if? But like, there's definitely people out there that don't think it's dope, so I have to make it doper. And like, I have to make it cool. I have to make it the coolest shit people have ever seen.
Yeah, but then you're slowing the process up, and then now you're overthinking. When sometimes really less is more. It's like the most simple shit. It's authentic. It's something that you made. It's dope. It's different. No one has it like that, and that's it.
I don't know.
And also, people.
I have this like feeling inside of me that I can't shake off for some reason. That I think that people are like laughing at me.
Why do you think that?
I don't know. Like, I think people look at the shit that I do on the internet and they see it and they're like, oh, she thinks she's like doing all this cool stuff, but it's like actually not cool. Or like, I don't know.
Where does that come from? Is that like some childhood shit?
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think it's like, I think it plays... It's fueled by just the way the internet works and how everyone's like constantly not racing, but like constantly trying to find like the new thing, the funny thing, the cool thing. And it's fucking exhausting. And I let it get to me.
What I tell you all the time, babe, just do your thing.
But
just do that without thinking. Like, stop going on the explore page, seeing what it's all because you're comparing and you see what other people do.
And it's not necessarily comparing directly, because I'm not even comparing myself to like people that are exactly the same thing.
I know,
and whatever.
But you're looking at the field, like you're really looking at it, and I feel like it gets in your own way of doing so much dope shit that you feel is cool.
Yeah, I just overthink everything.
Because now, if you do something that you think it's cool and you think it's dope, that's
but I'm
the
thinking
shit.
Like, it's like
it's not as what?
Like it's not that cool. Like maybe like I have this fear.
How cool do you want some shit to be?
Like I have this fear that what I think might be cool is like other people don't think is that cool, and it's actually lame.
We're all about solutions, okay?
Right.
All about solutions. So, I just want to say something, and then you let me know how you feel about it.
Okay.
We're all individuals, and everybody's unique, and there's no one that's exactly the same, correct?
Correct.
And I'm about to say everything. You already know all this shit.
And I'm not even trying to be the same as other people, but yeah.
Okay. But you are looking at the cool shit that other people are doing.
Yeah, and I'm thinking to myself, like, damn, like the shit they do is so cool and individual. And I feel like my individual self is not cool. Because
you're comparing yourself to whatever they're doing.
To their coolness.
Right. But do you think that they care? Do you think that they're looking at the field?
Yeah, probably. I think so. Everybody does.
I don't know how else to say it, but to say that like whatever you're doing is dope. You're your own personality. You have your own style. You have your own way, the way you speak or the way you articulate yourself, like you're your own personality. And, same for me, like what I'm doing, for some reason, I just never have that same feeling that you have.
Don't create like content on there. Like the podcast is its own thing, but creating content online the way that I do is different.
If I was a vlogger, I would not give a shit. I would be the most random vlogger, and I would take people like in the car with me. I would take people to a basketball game, and I would just share my thoughts. Like I would literally record myself talking on the street about just whatever I just thought about in the moment. And is there vloggers like that? Probably. But I'm not even looking at them. I don't even know who does that.
Honestly, that's the thing. I have to stop looking at people's shit.
You have to stop looking at it. And I would just put it out. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, whatever. But I'm doing it because I want to. and because it brings me joy.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it for other people. Like, this podcast brings me joy. People happen to love it. People happen to tune in every week, which I'm very grateful for. It's amazing. But I actually love talking to you about these conversations.
Yeah. And, you know, like I do feel with the podcast, it's a little bit different. Like, I do feel that we do it because we enjoy it, but we also do it for, like, the community we've created.
Yeah, no, exactly. Know? Yeah. And
because there's many times where we're like, damn, like, I don't feel like recording.
Yeah, there's some weeks we don't feel like recording. But
we also promised ourselves that we're going to record and put out 52 episodes this year. So.
Like we're not gonna miss a single week, you know. And like right now, for example, it's 11 p.m. right? Like, don't you think I want to sleep? Like, no, I don't want to sleep. But what I'm saying is that, you know, stop looking at other people.
Yeah,
you have to really stop doing it and just film and share what you want to share with people. That's it. Like, I don't know.
It's so funny because I think the way that I talk about certain things, people think I'm really confident and I've really like, it's weird. In some ways, I know exactly who I am and I like who I am. But then I view myself through this third lens that doesn't really even exist. And I've constructed this lens out of like my impression of the internet and certain things on the internet. And then I look at everything that I do, what I wear, the content that I create, and I view myself through myself first, and then I look at myself through that internet lens. Before, it's not like it never even made it on the internet, whatever it is. My outfit, what I ate, where I went, like none of it actually made it on the internet, but I feel like sometimes I live in the internet. Like I live in Instagram.
No,
and I've even told you that when like I have a hard time getting dressed because I feel like I've worn this outfit already and like I have no new shit and I'm bored of this and that or whatever. Like I feel like my outfit is boring. It's not that cool, interesting.
No.
And it's like, to who?
To exactly. That's what I think about.
Nobody's seeing me. Yeah. Also, like in Seattle, nobody gives a shit about what you're wearing.
And also too, do you think people would? I don't know. I feel like it really gets in your own way because you're such like a smart person. You're articulate. Like you can really just speak to the camera like a lot more, and just people would. I would enjoy. I watch your vlogs sometimes. I used to watch them like all of them. Mm-hmm. But I'm saying if I do have time, you know, I do catch up with it all the time, and I'm thinking, and sometimes I'm there. And I'm just like, this shit is good. Like, I would watch it. Mm-hmm. And there's so many people who love, like, the stuff that you do all the time, even, like, from Instagram or YouTube. But you just doubt. And you know that.
But you just doubt a lot.
You just doubt yourself. And then you need to stop looking at what other people do.
Yeah.
I swear. Like, do you want me to make a vlog one day and just show you how to not give a fuck?
I mean, fuck, yeah, why not?
Like, that would be...
I do want to start talking more in my videos. I want to make it, like, more fun. I want to make it more, like, I want to change it up a little bit.
Yeah, and it's gonna be, and you're gonna have so much fun with that too. And then you're gonna feel so free without even caring about what the trendy thing is, you know. And then also, that's exactly what's gonna separate you. You're gonna be that girl who, I don't know, for bad example, you're gonna be the one person that wears the same hoodie or talks about.
Except like, people do that, like regular people, and that's the other thing too. It's like I don't ever want to lose my relatability where I see there's people that are influencers and shit, and I'm like, they're wearing designer, they're wearing all this, they're going to New York Fashion Week, and I'm like, you know what's funny? Oh, I mean, vlogging is not my thing, but if it was, I would be so me to where it's gonna be refreshing for people to see like, this guy clearly doesn't give a shit, and that's what's gonna... You know, people are commenting in the video right now, like, Yona needs to start his own YouTube channel.
But I'm honestly speaking, if you're just unapologetically being yourself, it's gonna be like the best thing ever because you're creating without overthinking. You're just doing shit, put it out. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, it is what it is. But you're being yourself.
It's true.
I hate to like sound cliche, be yourself, but it's so true,
No,
like
it's true, especially
you're overthinking.
in this
Yeah. And you're getting in your own way and I don't know. I think, you got this. Like you've been doing great. Like,
yeah, I just have my phases, where
and you put so much work in all this shit, like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yo, this really be therapy, guys.
No, seriously.
For real.
And I'm glad that we talked about it because I hate to see you when you're frustrated about like
Some
these
stupid
things
shit like that.
or like what you're gonna wear. Like some days you have the best days ever, and then sometimes you have like the worst days ever.
Yeah, where it's like I can't get dressed because I feel like it's not cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But anyways, see how we just communicated there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the overall message is, communication is key.
Yeah, I want to leave a message to the people. If you're listening to this and you are in a new relationship, even if you've been in a relationship for a long time, over communicating with your partner will save your relationship, in my personal opinion. You can state the most obvious thing that you might think like, why am I even saying this? Obviously,
This and
that, but you don't know how the other person may receive it, and I'm only speaking to the people who don't know their partner that well.
But I think even we knew each other well, but then there's certain things that might surprise you that you thought you knew or something. And
right. But exactly. No, you're right about that. So over communicating, yes, it might take a little bit more effort, but if you want to make your relationship work, you have to put work into that.
And sometimes you might feel like you're talking the shit out of something, like something that might be really small that happened, or like,
no, yeah, exactly.
It's like you have to actively and intentionally over communicate.
Yes.
And really use hella more words than you normally would to describe how you're feeling, to ask a question, to say what happened, to walk through this. This is like how you do work.
Yeah, you can't
in a relationship.
Yeah, you can't be selfish. Let's say you go to a gathering with your partner, and then he or she said something that you didn't like. You can't get home, because that's some shit you remember. Like if let's say you said something, I would remember that shit, right? But as soon as you get home,
saying some shit.
right? I would always just say, hey, when you said that, I'm not mad at you, but I just want you to know for next time, keep in mind that maybe you shouldn't say that, or I didn't like, don't put me in that situation. Like, just say that in that tone. Just don't be mad and then be like, I can't believe you said that. Like, how you make me feel about other people. Like, I feel like I've heard many stories about people in relationships that they just point the finger all the time. And they just everyone just wants to be right. Everybody just wants to be like,
but at the end of the day, like, that should not be the goal.
No, that should not be the goal. Like, I will take 3 steps back and add more things that I have to do for this to work. I don't care how much I gotta do. Like, I'll do whatever it takes to make this work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that should always be the goal. The goal should always be, I'm letting you know that this is how I felt because I don't want this to happen again. And then for that to not happen again, I need to communicate and let you know.
Yeah.
And then the person receiving this information, instead of going guard up and defense mode and explaining themselves and sounding really defensive, instead of that, just being like, okay, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, let's actually talk through it of like, why did what I said make you feel that way? And then you also have your chance to explain why you said what you said.
Yeah.
And how, like, maybe the other person is overreacting. Sometimes people be feeling some type of way where you're like, yo, it's not that deep. Not necessarily invalidating that person, but sometimes the way that I do, I might get in my head and just like, yo, chill. Like, it's not like that.
Yeah.
It very much depends on the circumstances.
Yeah.
But it's all about how you say shit.
Yeah. And also put yourself in the other person's shoes also.
Yeah.
Try to see. That's what I always do. I always try to I'm really trying to picture, okay, if I was that person, how would I feel? You know, and I'm sure you're listening. This is something, it's not the first time you hear someone say that, you know?
Yeah, but sometimes it takes a lot of effort to do that. Sometimes you have to ask the other person questions to really try to understand why they felt the way they did.
Yeah. And ask questions, especially if you're living with someone and you love them. Like, living with someone there's so many things that happen. And if you don't communicate or just over communicate, you're, I don't know. I feel like there's like so much love that you can just like have in a relationship. But I feel like people's pride and ego get in the way of that. So they don't want to,
or
they don't want to like better themselves because they feel like, nah, I'm good. She's the one tripping.
Or simply they don't even know that there's a next level to their communication.
Yeah.
Like they're thinking that they're communicating at the utmost like level that you can communicate at.
Which is like toxic, like argument.
No. I'm not even necessarily saying that. I'm saying like somebody, maybe they're not toxic, but like something happens, they talk about it, but they might not realize that there's a next level up to how much you can like break down and how you can like more intentionally listen to shit.
Yeah.
Because I would say like I can recognize that recently, in the last couple months, our communication has gotten even better because of this over communicating, because we've recognized certain things that now we know how we can avoid when we're already communicating the way we have been by doing that extra little over communication from time to time when it's necessary to really like break that shit down. Sometimes you just gotta break that shit down.
Yeah.
You know, and you might feel like you're talking about like it feels a little bit not silly, but it feels a little bit like you're doing extra and you're being really like into this whole situation where, because you sometimes talking about something that one person didn't like and the other person, it kind of ruins the vibe of the evening or it ruins the vibe of the night.
I mean, there's a time and place for everything.
Right. But the same way somebody could be like, oh, you're really gonna do this right now?
Yeah, you have to know when to bring things up.
Yeah, but I also think that the other person, if you love your person, like don't say you gotta bring this now. Like clearly they want to talk about this shit, so you know.
Oh, so you mean if they're like in their own space?
Yeah, obviously like.
Oh, okay.
Because there's some people that would say, "Damn, you want to talk about all this right now?" Like I was just trying to come home and watch some TV.
How can you? With that shit on your mind, that means you don't give a fuck.
Well, they ain't got shit on their mind. It's the other person saying something.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's all types of situations and circumstances, but I think you get the point.
Yeah, you get the point. If you made it to the end of this video.
We're not doing the off-topic segment.
Oh, damn. Wow. Well, okay.
Actually, I lost my phone because I was looking for that shit. I was like thinking about the off-topic segment, like it's coming. I need my phone.
Oh shit. Okay, cool.
Okay, sorry. I found it. It fell in the couch.
So she got up and then just to find it like right there.
Yeah.
So welcome to the off-topic segment of the episode.
Why you gotta make it so like official?
Because I still.
So let's move into the off-topic segment. Trying to be like so casual.
You said it so much better than me.
Is that sarcasm?
I don't know. You figure it out.
Okay, so
I'm so like intrigued.
Okay, but actually
no. What did you write down?
Yeah, Yoni's like, it's a whole paragraph. But what have you been listening to? You know, what's been your jam of the week?
My jam of the week, even though it's only Monday, my jam of the weekend.
Well, last week.
Oh, last week. Okay.
What you been listening to?
I've been listening to the Teskey Brothers.
Oh, what's that?
Yeah, Teskey Brother. Oh, actually, let me make sure I got it right.
Mispronounces it.
No. I didn't mispronounce it, but I want to give you a specific album you should listen to. You should actually listen to just like all their stuff. It's two brothers. I'm assuming they're like actual brothers.
Oh, is this like the like instrumental vibes?
The stuff that I posted on my story today.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So the Teskey Brothers. That is. Teskey and then Brothers. So Teskey Brothers.
Okay.
Honestly, it doesn't even matter what album you download
or listen to. Who downloads anymore?
Yes, it's amazing. I mean, yeah, just
what's the vibe? Like, what's
it's like it's just, you know, like
It's
in
like
a movie.
good vibes. It's sad vibes. Like,
No, it's good. It makes you, you know, like those songs that make you feel like you're like in a movie. Mm-hmm. That's that shit right there.
I do love those songs.
And this is gonna be my shit for like a long time. And I've
Did you
known
just discover?
no, I've known about him like since I want to say it's like around Christmas last year. Mm-hmm. But you know how sometimes you download some shit and then you don't never get back to it because some other shit dropped.
Never download anything, but yeah, sure.
Okay, like you download on Apple Music or Spotify, like
You just save it.
You save it, yeah. So and then just like the other day, I was just like scrolling to see what I had, and then I saw the Teskey Brothers.
Oh, and then you played it,
And I played that shit like today on the way home from work, and I felt like it's like one of those movies that, let's say I'm the character and like my life is hard, and like I'm doing laundry somewhere, and it's like there's music that's coming in. I don't know. It's like, if you're listening to this, please play the Teskey Brothers, any song. I'm sure obviously there's some songs that are better than others.
Yeah.
But this is my jam right now.
All right.
And I feel like people wouldn't expect me to listen to this kind of music.
Really? I mean, once you
Yeah.
play it, I don't know. I kind of expect you to listen to. Yoni likes everything other
Yeah.
than like country music, but I feel like there's some country songs you can get behind.
No, but it's like, I don't know. It depends.
Depends, yeah. Well,
But yeah, so listen to the Teskey Brothers and please let me know on Instagram
what you think?
what you think. What song do you like the most? I can tell you what song I like the most.
Which is, yeah, let us know.
Yeah, there's so many songs. I don't want to like be on my phone this whole time. But anyways,
So
that's
you're not
like,
going to let us know. Okay.
no, there's a lot of songs that I like.
Okay,
right now.
okay. Well, this past week I've been randomly listening to a lot of the internet.
The internet again?
What you mean again?
Like, we just talked about the internet.
What you mean?
Oh, I'm joking because we just said the internet.
I was like, I was not listening to them last week.
Damn, I wish you got my joke. You could have laughed, you know?
Oh, it wasn't that funny. Anyways, if you don't know, there's a band called The Internet. And I was listening to them this week. I don't know, like I just thought about them. I was like, that's a nice vibe, you know? And I was listening to Don't Ya?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that song.
Oh, that song.
It's like one of the first, I think that's like the first song I heard by them.
Is that with the purple cover?
No, it's like it's like an underwater cover. It's like in the water. It's like a turquoise. Anyways. And I was, this is actually what I wrote down here, is how I was listening to it in the car the other day. And it really, the way that music and like a specific song can instantly take you back to a moment in your life or a phase or a summer or a week or a specific day or moment.
All those
or
things are the
feeling.
same thing.
No, but you know what I mean? Like, because have you had that happen where like you listen to one song and
Yes.
it literally, it's like you taste the food that you ate then.
Yeah.
You like smell the environment you were in. You can vividly see, like you can for 1 second go back to a specific day and just be there.
Yeah, I have that a lot with Lil Wayne. When the Carter 3 dropped.
I have that with.
There's so many.
with the
Like I
internet
have that
specifically.
with Jennifer Lopez.
Oh shit! Okay.
Summer 2000. I don't know, early 2000s, like Ja Rule, Ashanti, Nelly, Ludacris. Like that's like my favorite era of music. If you know, you know.
Yeah. Well, I have the internet. I forget which album it is.
Okay.
But there's a specific album that dropped one summer when I was still in Toronto, and I was staying with like one of my friends, and it was like the summer school for like 3 weeks. You still stay, and even though it's like off the academics, we're still dancing and stuff. And anyways, it was a specific summer that I stayed with him, and I ate a lot of like smoothie bowls
With him?
with him, my friend.
Oh.
I stayed with him. We weren't dating. I was staying with him at his family's house with his family.
Oh, okay.
He was gay. We were like, you know.
No, I mean, shit. I didn't know. I thought he was like your dancer friend. I mean, I guess you were all.
Well,
dancers.
we were going like we were classmates, like we were schoolmates, and I stayed with him. And anyways, it was a specific summer. Like we would commute, and I ate so many smoothie bowls. So as soon as I heard that music, I was thinking of the smoothie bowls. I was also thinking,
the smoothie bowl? Tell me right now.
What was it?
Yeah,
it was
what was
always
in it?
like a raspberry. Like it was a lot of raspberries in that smoothie bowl, like raspberry, strawberry,
I
banana.
hate raspberry.
Oh, okay, but it was like,
Okay.
it was just my thing.
Okay.
Anyways, and I just think it's so beautiful, like how music can take you, like to a specific time.
Yeah.
It's just
Everyone has that experience. That's that nostalgic, shit.
It's so fucking beautiful to me. I don't
Yeah.
know. It really like, and takes me there, and I just like want to stay there.
And it's most of the time when you're like driving, right?
It can be, or if you're like walking, like I was also walking on the street, and because I kept playing it because I really liked the feeling of how it makes you and it takes you back to something.
Did you feel like you were eating the smoothie too? Like
I
it would have been
low-key
so funny.
felt like I could smell
I'm
the
full
smoothie.
now.
I could smell the granola on the smoothie. And also it was like I was staying in the basement room, and then there was like the floor was really cold in the morning. Like random shit like that. That it just, I remember because that was the album I played that summer. Anyways, then that's the next thing that I was thinking about today when I was walking on the street. I went and I got lunch. We never really got into what we did today or what I did today, but it was a beautiful day out today, gorgeous, and it was also kind of warm. And I decided to do a jean on jean outfit. I was actually going to wear it right now, but it looked different when I sit down.
The jean on jean.
Denim on denim.
Okay. No, the way you said it was like jean on jean. It's like,
Oh, like jean on jean?
it's like what is that?
What's jean on jean? No, like denim on denim.
Yeah.
So I was wearing like some jeans, and then I was wearing Yoni's denim Levi jacket.
That I got in New York, and I cut the bottom because it was too long when I first bought
Yeah,
it.
and on me it's like super oversized, and I was gonna wear it, but then when I sit down, it looks like I'm wearing a denim blanket.
Yeah,
But when I stand, it looks cool.
Yeah.
So I was feeling myself. I slicked my hair back. I feel like when I slick my hair back, I feel like extra good for some reason.
Well, you should do that all the time.
And then I put my glasses on. I had glasses and headphones. I was that person.
Oh.
And it was a beautiful day, and I hadn't been outside of this. So I was like, you know what? Let me go outside. And I'm the type of person that I can't just go outside with no reason, like no destination. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I have an excuse to like go get lunch. So I put in an order at this Thai place, and I always get this like salad thing with rice that they have. So I ordered it. I walk over there, and on the way there, I had a thought about one of my pet peeves. Why are you yawning when I'm telling you?
No, I don't know. The yawn just came.
Well, I'll be real quick, but one of my pet peeves is like when we're at a social event of some sort and you're talking to one person, but it's like, when you're at a social event, it's like you're talking to one person, but you're in a room with a bunch of people, and everyone's kind of having like little conversations here and there.
Yeah.
But you might be having a conversation while some people are having or doing like an activity or something.
Yeah.
So you're aware of their activity and kind of talk to them intermittently, but then you're having a main conversation with someone else.
Right.
And then maybe another person says some funny shit, and then you hear it and you laugh at it. You know what I mean? Like you're
Yeah.
kind of aware, like not in just one conversation. You kind of know a bunch of shit.
I can't do that. If I'm talking to a person and someone said some funny ass shit right next to me, I'm not gonna hear it because I'm listening to you.
Okay, yeah, but the conversation is not like how we're just like blah, 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 the whole time. It's a little bit like you talk about this subject.
Okay,
and then
so there's
you
some breaks there.
There's some breaks there, yeah. So what happens to me very often, and it's my pet peeve, and I don't know why this keeps happening. Maybe I'm just like not interesting. That I'm having a conversation with somebody, and it's not like there's a break coming up like we were just talking about. It's a full-on back and forth conversation. But there's other people having a conversation and maybe doing something else just like right there. The person I'm talking to
I already know what happened.
keeps getting distracted,
Yeah.
and like I'm talking about something.
Yeah.
I'm actively like either telling a story or describing something or talking about something, and I see the person that I'm directly talking to turning their head, and like I can tell that their attention is on whatever the fuck is happening next
I
to
hate
us.
that, and I won't talk to that person.
Yo, And then for a little bit there, I keep talking because I'm thinking, oh, they looked away, but like they'll come back. Their attention will come back. It doesn't. So then I slowly just stop talking.
That's fucking rude.
And I feel so awkward and embarrassed because then I'm just like.
No, it's rude. I don't like that. And
then.
You have to call it out, babe.
And say what?
And say, hey, I was talking. I'm talking to you, bro.
But I don't want to be so like extra.
No.
But bro, like if there's one pet peeve I have about being social and shit, it's that. Because I hate the way that I never do that ever. If anything, if there's something that maybe someone said or something that somebody needs or whatever, I don't just leave this conversation. Like I'm like, oh, hold on 1 second. And then I respond. If maybe you're asking me something or somebody says something or whatever.
Someone can literally call my name and I'll be like, just hold on 1 second.
Yeah. Or if I need to interrupt this specific moment, I will let them know and then come back to it. But I won't just like they're talking to me.
You have to let that person know.
And they just like turn around and they're like doing.
You have to let them know, babe.
Bro, that happens to me so much.
Yeah, and it's with the same person.
No, it's several people.
Oh, it might be you then.
That happened to me recently. It was like 3 people in the same night. And I was like, am I doing something?
No, I think it's just a lot going on.
Like, maybe it's just like something that people do.
I
just hate that.
Okay, so one of my pet peeves, and this is probably not number 1, but if I had to make a list, it makes the top 3. If I'm on the phone and let's say I call you, right? Mm-hmm. And we're talking, and then I hear you start talking to someone else over, like on the phone. Mm-hmm. I hate that. What's that?
You're gonna hate this right now, but I totally didn't pay attention to what you said. Like I was listening, but like I missed the point.
You didn't hear what I said?
No, like I heard.
What did I say?
You said like something about you're on the phone and then somebody's talking on the phone.
What?
What did you say?
I said, for example, I was talking about my pet peeves.
Yeah.
And if I'm talking to you on the phone.
Okay, so you're on the phone with somebody.
Yes. I'm on the phone with somebody and that person start talking to someone else in whatever room they're.
Oh, I thought you were saying, and that person starts talking on the phone. I'm like, aren't they on the phone with you?
Oh,
I got it. Like you're on the phone and then you're talking and then they start talking to someone who they're in the room with.
Yes.
You're like that's what I just.
I like how you had to explain my pet peeves, but yeah, I hate it.
Yeah, my mom does this shit all the time.
And I would literally just say this on the phone. I would be like, yo, are you listening? Or even if I hear like some noise, like a small ass noise that they're making, right? I'm like, can you hear me? Are you hearing?
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
that's why when I'm telling you something and you like pick up your phone or you look away, I'm like, are you listening to what I'm saying?
No, I'm listening.
But you get mad at me when I say that because you're like, yo, I can listen and do some other shit. And I'm like, no, you can't.
Yeah, no, on the phone is funny. And my friends know that about me, like if we're talking and then I hear them like mess with a bag or something, I'm like, yo, are you listening? Because I'm telling you some shit, especially if it's like something important,
Yeah. I don't know why I feel like in a social gathering situation, I don't want to be like, yo, are you guys listening?
No, if you're my friends, I'll tell you whatever. Like, yo, bro, I was literally just talking to you. You can go talk to them.
It's just so, I feel so, like not dismissed, but I feel so like just pushed to the side.
No, and you are pushed to the side because now they
I'm like,
push
damn,
you
you really don't care about what I'm saying right now. And especially because it's like if they ask me a question and I'm telling them, and as soon as I start talking,
it's crazy.
They like look away, and I can tell that it's not that they just look away. Like they look away and they're looking at something else.
Yeah, I feel like I know who it is too, but it's okay. People are just like
that. It is what it is,
Yeah.
Anyways. I think we're ready to close it out now.
Yeah.
Because I'm just thinking I'm the one editing this tomorrow, and I'm gonna be like, oh.
Yeah. Good luck.
Why did we talk for 2 hours?
Yeah, that's why I was just like, all right, cool. We can talk about some more off-topic shit. But I just wanted to say that I really appreciate everyone for listening each and every week.
Yeah.
Everyone that subscribed to the YouTube, follows us on Instagram.
If you share it with your friends.
Shout out to everybody that's watching. Yo, some girl was watching that shit on like a big ass TV. It looked like like a home cinema or some shit.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's a vibe.
Yeah. That was so nice, and I was spun and I was like, that is a vibe. If you got to the end of this episode, please type in the comments. Break it down.
Break it down.
Like the over communicating. That was a weak one. We can say break it down as in like only. I feel like people would know what that means.
Yeah. No, I get it, but I feel like we could have done it better.
No, because we can't say over communicate because that's the title.
Yeah, because that's the title. But they wouldn't think that that's what we said for them to write.
No, because then. Can people just write break it down?
Yeah, right, break it down. All right, guys, we're going to close it up because it's literally time to go to bed right now.
And I hope you know what we mean by break it down.
Yeah, like you like break it down.
Okay, because we said a lot in this episode.
Yeah, that's true. But we love you guys, and we love spending time with you, and we can't wait. We love meeting you guys whenever we do on the streets. We're actually going to be going to San Francisco the day on Thursday, so you're going to, if you listen to this when it comes out on Wednesday mornings, the next day we will be out of these beats.
Yeah, we will be in San Francisco.
I've been to San Francisco one time, but it was one day, and it was with like it was my like a big family thing, and we were also just driving, like we didn't fly in and stay. We had been driving from Seattle down to Cali. It was too much.
Yeah.
So by the time I got to San Francisco, I was like, I'm not trying to be here.
Yeah. Follow us on Instagram to see all the random photos that most likely I'll be taking.
Yeah. I'll try to create a reel or something. You know?
Yeah.
And try to make it cool.
Yeah. Follow my YouTube channel to see more vlogs behind the scenes. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my god. But yeah, so we'll see you guys after we come back. But until then, we hope you have a great week ahead of you and a great weekend, and everything's good. Hopefully there's sun wherever you are and you're feeling the spring vibes, hearing the little birdies. Yo, when I hear birds chirping,
it just makes you.
It makes my soul chirping.
Same.
Chirp. Yeah. You know, I should maybe sing. It makes my heart sing. Like, it's just so fucking cute.
Yeah.
Anyways, love you.
Thanks for listening, and break that shit down with your partner. Come on now.
Yeah. Or with yourself, you know.
Oh, with yourself. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.